Fiction and reality. New stories, new ideas. Little Beth Entertainment.
Welcome to episode 107 of The Rocketry Show. It is a workshop episode, and we're joined by Tyler Palmer this time around. Stick around. Lots of great things to talk about coming up right after this quick message.
The Rocketry Show would like to thank the following patrons for their support. JohnRocket.com, Jimmy Burgess, Paradise Rocketry, Jason Rodney, Sean Falkingham, Joe S., Paul Oliveri, Sam Feinberg, Michael Alward, Brian Scheckenberger, E. Hudnall, John Thompson, Mark McBride, Doug Wade, C. McCauley, Carl Hunting, the Piedmont Student Launch Team, Steve S., Chris Irving, Dave Simmons, SBR Fusion Rocket.biz, John Kusher, Christopher Short, Kelsey Black, Brian Renneker, and Jason Rodney. If you wish to show your support and become a patron of The Rocketry Show, just visit us at patreon.com/TheRocketry Show.
Ignition sequence start. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. All engine running.
Welcome to The Rocketry Show.
All right, lift off and the clock is started. Yes, sir. Reading loud and clear.
A podcast that is all about advanced and high-power rocketry. Amateur-built rockets, starting at mid-power to higher-power versions. This program is hosted by the team who loves the smell of burning rocket propellant in the morning. Here are CG, Gene, and model rocket guy, Jesse Yu.
I think I like the version of that where we had him say we like the smell of ammonium perchlorate in the morning.
I was just going to say that.
I think I might
Seriously.
have to redo that a little bit with him. Because, it's like rocket propellant, and the last several episodes I've been listening to it going, it's not quite the same.
Got my vote.
So, yeah, we'll make a change on that one. But how you doing? This is The Rocketry Show at TheRocketryShow.com. I am CG.
I am Jim.
And I am model rocket guy, Jesse Yu.
Alrighty, and another great workshop episode for you right here on The Rocketry Show. And we are joined by Tyler Palmer from up north, eh?
What's up?
Hey, guys. Thanks for having me on.
Welcome to the show.
Thank you very much. It's going to be fun.
And, before we jump too deep into this, I hear, Jim, you got some feedback at a launch about the workshop episodes.
I did, actually. Shout out to the guys at Tripoli, Mid-Ohio. I got some feedback from a couple of the guys down there that were saying that they really like the new workshop episodes where we bring in somebody to talk. And they were like, can I get on? So it was actually kind of cool, because I went down without my team. It was just me, and I was just, at a launch, just me and my stuff. And I really enjoyed it. It's always good going down to Tripoli, Mid-Ohio.
Cool.
Well, that's good. That's good to hear.
Yeah, I've been getting similar feedback from various folks who are in touch with me. So that's kind of cool. And I'm glad everyone likes it, and I'm glad everybody, a lot of people are wanting to hop in and be a part of the show, which is good. That means we'll have plenty of folks to invite on. So
many topics to discuss from everyone.
Yes.
About rockets. All things rockets.
So welcome onto the show, Tyler. And tell us a little bit about yourself for those who don't know who you are.
I'm sort of a born-again rocketeer. Got kind of back into it. I did it when I was a kid, when I was like 12 or 13, and did some SD stuff. And probably about 4 years ago now, I kind of came back and again got into some SD stuff. I actually manage a hobby shop, and we had a customer return a launch set, and we couldn't return it back to the supplier or anything. I was like, I'm going to take this and give it a shot. And all it took was one launch, and I was hooked all over again. So I've been back into it pretty hardcore for the last 4 years or so.
Cool.
What was the rocket on the launch set? Just the standard alpha, or?
Now I'm trying to remember. I know it had
Is
plastic
it like an
fins.
Aerotech kit? Plastic
No,
fins.
it was just an Estes kit. I think it might have been just an Alpha launch set, if I'm not mistaken. One of the Alpha, I think it's the Alpha 3. It's the one with the plastic
Right,
fins.
the one with the plastic fins. Now, the other question I have real quick before we move on is, did you lose it in a tree?
No, I did not. That was the one good
awesome.
thing.
Oh, man.
Yeah, it was a good start back in. We had a good spot to launch, and that's if I had lost it in a tree, I may not have dove back in.
I'd ask.
Yes.
Well, Alpha
sure.
3s are synonymous with losing in trees. It's kind of funny that you say that because we've never talked about it, like at least with our trio here, but you're absolutely right, Jim.
I know.
That's exactly what happens to those.
I went back into Born Again probably about a little bit, like 6 years, and I built an Alpha 1 and the first flight in a tree. I'm like, well, I guess I'm back. But I had a few good launches before that came. So
that's funny. That Naram Alpha 6 that they released back in 2018, that one got lost in a tree in a park, first launch. It wasn't even a C65 or anything cool. It was like an A83, guys. Yeah, just
oh, that's even worse.
Yeah, I lost some points that day. So lost some man points that day. Hey, so Tyler, I've been following you a little bit. What kind of rockets do you carry at that shop that you manage? I hear you got a lot of lock stuff. What's happening with what do you offer to your customers?
We started out with the SD stuff. And of course we carry all of that. Of course, when I got back into rocketry, I was basically a member of one of the Ottawa Rocketry Group actually got me onto lock rockets. Basically the first year I was back in, because I wanted to build something bigger and a little more solid than the SD stuff. And so I'd been pushing pretty hard since then to get Lock on as a vendor for us. So we deal lock rockets. We're just waiting on our first Aerotech shipment as well. So we're going to be carrying Aerotech rockets, Quest rockets,
sweet,
and Aerotech motors.
Awesome.
So very, very excited to get all that stuff, get all my grubby hands on that.
No, it's great to hear that you're going to be carrying, higher power rocket motors, even if they're Fs and Gs. I mean, because some hobby stores just carry those specifically. There's a few hobby stores down here in Southern Colorado that will carry up to Ks, and that's kind of cool. What kind of range of motors are you looking to carry there?
For the first little while, we're focusing just up to the mid power stuff, so up to the Gs.
Sounds good to me.
Okay. Yeah, once I get, I've been kind of gunning towards my certification for a while. Of course, COVID happened, and I haven't been able to go anywhere to do it. So, but once I get a little more comfortable myself with the bigger stuff, we'll probably start carrying some high power as well.
So see, cool. that store depends on him, Gene.
I'm jealous because I wish my local hobby store carried anything. I love Estes and I use it all the time for my camps and kids. But it'd be nice to walk into a store and buy a couple of Gs just because you're there.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the goal for sure. It's kind of nice to. I love being able to go into the shop and it's like, what lock kit do I want to get today?
Yeah, there is that too. So,
yeah,
it's actually kind of bad, but
to be expected. So how is what's the rocket community like up there? I mean, is it like a bunch of people, or you got younger guys coming in, or what's it looking like?
It's kind of a mix. Our local Tripoli group is the Ottawa Rocketry Group. Unfortunately, we don't have a field at the moment, so they lost it last year, I guess it was. But it's a pretty good mix. The nice thing about having kind of the SD stuff and a lot of the basic launch sets is that during COVID especially, we had so many people coming in just wanting to get out and do something other than being in the house. So, I mean, there was lots of people getting into it. There's actually, since we've been carrying lock stuff, there's been quite a cross-section of people coming in to do rockets from kind of late teens, early 20s up to, some older folks who are just sort of coming back to it again, born again Rocketeers. And it's really nice to see. Yeah, it's a good group.
Now, there's one thing that I know I've always had questions about. So you're talking about going for your high power certifications. Now I know there's different levels, or works a little bit differently than down in the States, like your various levels. Could you tell a little bit about that? Because I've always been a little confused about what the Canadian rules are.
Yeah. So, I mean, of course, it depends on which association you're dealing with. Because, I mean, our local group is Tripoli, so it's, the same as what would be in the States. But the Canadian Association of Rocketry has, their level 1 is H, and then level 2 is I, and then level 3 is JKL. And then I forget what it's called above that. So you guys know Rachel Daigle. She got her level 3. So she's basically, it's the equivalent of a level 2 with NAR or Tripoli.
Got it. So do you, now, if you're a Tripoli person, does it carry over to the CAR, or are they just totally separate?
No, they're all they all have reciprocating agreements between them. So, Canadian Association of Rocketry, like if a NAR high-powered person came to a car launch, they can launch high power with them. It's all you can't cert obviously between the different groups,
Right.
But yeah, so they're basically the same as NAR and Tripoli, except that it's a much smaller group. I think we only have, last time I checked on the site, like I'm not actually a member of CAR. I'm actually with NAR. But I checked on the CAR website, and I think there's only 200 to 300 members across Canada in CAR.
Okay.
So it's a smaller group because, we're a little bit limited, to areas that we can launch. Even though it's a huge country, it's surprising how little open space there is in some areas. Although I think around the prairies and stuff, there should be some stuff. But around where I live, we don't have a lot of areas, and that's why we don't have a field right now.
A lot of lakes.
Yeah, lots of forests, lots of lakes. There is lots of farmland, but it's just, finding a farmer that'll let you use their land.
Yeah.
Sounds familiar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what rockets have you built after you got that launch set and you took it for yourself? You bought it for yourself, and then you decided to go and build like 4 irises that you're have these master paint jobs on. So talk to us about what you had built, for our workshop stuff. What is Tyler built for, his rocket collection from Locke and Estes and everything else?
So yeah, I started out with, I got into some of the Estes stuff. Obviously I've got a Goblin because,
Team Goblin?
Team Goblin all the way.
There you go.
But yeah, like Magician, a couple of my favorites from Estes are the SLV and the QCC Explorer, kind of my 2 favorites from them. I built those. I've got a Saturn V.
Complicated.
Yeah, Saturn V was
stuff.
Kind of a long one. And then I got in, after SD stuff, I got into some Rocketarium builds. So I have a bunch of black. Yeah, I have a whole pile of black Brants. I have like 4 or 5.
Brants, yep.
Yeah, I love black
Brants.
Brants.
You do? Okay, I remember seeing the pictures. Yeah, they are. Yeah, and he does great work on them. Fantastic looking machines he's built there.
So those are pretty sweet. I have I don't know, in the last 4 years, I've probably built like 40 rockets. They're just like surrounding me. But my Locke stuff, I've got a Graduator, which I haven't actually flown yet. I do have a 3-inch Iris and a 4-inch Iris. I actually have a 5.5 kit. It was a prototype kit that Dave and Jay from Locke are sending me. So that one's coming to me, which is kind of fun.
I know what it is.
Yeah, I'm pretty excited. I can't wait to get my hands on that to build. I build a lot.
Nice.
I don't get to fly as much as I'd like, but I do get to build a lot. So I really enjoy that.
That's good.
Yeah. So and I've got I do have a high tech that I had this idea for a paint job, and I'm like, I have to do a high tech. I have this problem with scale rockets and going off scale for design.
Okay.
If it's a scale rocket, I really kind of like it to be scale, but I needed something kind of that wasn't scale. So I'm going to get a high tech and do a wild paint job on that one. So I'm kind of excited to try that.
Well, what are you planning on doing with it, if I can ask? I mean, if it's secret, I understand, but...
Nothing too crazy. I'm thinking sort of along the lines of kind of matrixy binary number stuff, or some like printed circuit board kind of design on it.
Cool.
So it's going to be difficult. Definitely going to be pushing my skill set. Jesse said that I was a master airbrusher on the last episode, and I'm like, yeah, no, I'm not a master, but I definitely enjoy it. So that's the big thing, and I have learned a lot over the last several years of doing it. I actually paint RC car bodies. That's how I started airbrushing. So that's sort of where I started.
Talk about that for a little bit. Yeah, I mean,
the painting,
the airbrushing, like, I mean, sorry, Jim, I didn't mean to.
No. I was going on the same lines because I am, when it comes to painting, the airbrush is this like holy grail of something that I might touch upon, but I have no idea about how to do it.
Angels will sing.
Yeah, right.
Nice.
Something like that.
Airbrushing is, I was kind of intimidated to try it out, but I decided that I was going to do it because I was heavily into RC racing, and I wanted to paint up my own bodies and stuff. I did have a buddy actually who works at the shop as well, who he painted professionally for a number of years, and he still does occasionally. So he kind of showed me a few things to get started with. It's not as hard as a lot of people think it is. It's more kind of learning about how thick or thin actually you want your paint to be. I find what most people struggle with is that they'll run their paint a little bit too thick, a little too heavy, and learning to do light coats and, less is more when you're doing airbrushing. Just, it doesn't require a massive amount of paint, and you can really thin your paint down a lot more than a lot of people think. And the thinner it is, typically the easier it is to work with, and your brush doesn't get clogged up as much either.
Well, a lot of people probably do that, right? Is because you look at a 12 ounce or an 18 ounce paint can, and then you go to the hobby store and they have 2 ounce bottles of white, or like different shades of white, like 50 different shades of white into gray and into black. Like it just goes from 180 degrees of color to the other. And they're tiny little bottles, and I'm like looking at I'm watching YouTube videos, and I was like, wait, you guys aren't talking about how you thin that and how do you get that context, but you just said less is more. Can you touch on that? Because I am very confused.
Yeah. When it comes to thinning paint, like you said, like when you're airbrushing, you actually use way, way less paint than you would with spray cans, because it's more of a direct.
Is it more direct?
It is, yeah. It's a much more directed spray. Even when I'm using my larger spray gun, it's not, you're still not using, you're using a bit more with that, but when you're using an airbrush, like a lot of people, it depends on the brand of paint you're using. Some brands are actually good to spray out of the bottle. But when I use a lot of auto air colors from Createx, which actually now they're all being blended into the Wicked color line now. So I know Dave and Jay at Locke use auto air, so that's actually going to be changing to Wicked colors, just the brand name. But their paint is actually an automotive water-based acrylic, and it does need to be thinned down quite a bit, especially if you're running metallic colors. I find that I will thin it down usually at least 50%. With a thinner or an airbrush flow improver. And then there's other additives like they have a poly balancing clear, which is it's a product that actually makes the paint harder when it dries. It's got a polyurethane additive to it, so it makes it a lot tougher. And that actually also helps thin the paint a little bit. It's a clear additive, so you mix it into your paint. So that's... But yeah, usually I start around, if I'm using auto air colors, usually about 50%. Vallejo premium colors, they're actually pretty good out of the bottle, but I still thin them a little bit with airbrush flow improver from Vallejo. And then there's Mission Model Colors RC paint as well that I use. It's also quite good out of the bottle, but you can thin it way down because they triple pigment their paint. So even when you thin it, it still covers really well when it's thin. So
have you guys seen that Ultimate Buzz that Lock sells? That 5.5 inch diameter Ultimate Buzz? Have you guys seen that?
That's awesome.
Their model is it's like silver and purple. Have you seen that, Jim and CG?
I haven't seen it.
Have you guys seen that?
No.
All right, so take a look at the Lock website and go look at that. And I was talking to Dave. I'm like, so how many bottles of paint did you use? And he's like, 1. I'm like, what? And once again, we get back to the less is more thing. I'm like, well, how big are those bottles? He's like, oh, it's like 8 ounces. I'm like, but how are you going to paint a 5.5 inch, 80-inch tall rocket with 8 ounces of paint? What you just said, Tyler, makes a lot of sense. So that's the insight that I was kind of looking for. And I will ping you on the side. Yeah, it's not all paint.
Before we get too deep, I just want to remind folks that, if you want to make this into a mega workshop episode while you're working on stuff, episode 73 and 74, we talked to a buddy of mine, Ken Patterson, about the basics of airbrushing your rocket. So in addition to what you hear on here, if you haven't heard those episodes, you definitely want to go back and listen to that, and you'll have a good, Gone with the Wind epic size long session of podcasting to listen to on this. So I thought I'd point
4.5 hours.
Yeah.
4.5 hours for your Saturday.
Yes.
It was listening pleasure.
That's just enough.
Yes. Just enough. So what are your favorite kinds of paints?
Me personally?
Yeah, your favorite brands.
I think Auto Air Colors is probably my favorite just because it's an automotive paint and they have some crazy colors, like some really nice stuff. Anywhere from just your standard stuff right to color shift paints. So
that's
a lot of custom motorcycle guys use it for doing up tanks and bikes. So it's pretty cool. So that's probably my favorite. Vallejo Premium is probably my second favorite just because it's really easy to use out of the bottle. It's funny. It actually has a nice smell to it, which I kind of like. So
you start feeling a little happy.
This is all water-based acrylic, so there's no fumes off it. Yeah, I spray in my workshop in the basement. If I didn't, I probably wouldn't paint, just because you can work really fast with water-based acrylics because they dry quick. I can paint like a whole complicated scheme in like a day or two. I can do it in a day if I'm feeling motivated, but yeah, it dries super fast and there's no fumes. So, a big box fan with a furnace filter on it to pick up any loose or any flying particulates and you're good to go.
I have that.
Actually, you have a pretty sweet spray booth. I saw what you posted there.
That's huge. Yeah. I painted my level 3 in that thing. I wasn't planning on doing that. And then all of a sudden I kind of had to because of time. Like, okay, well, might as well set this up. So then I talked about it on a few episodes, but it's huge. And then what I was thinking of doing was getting like a small table, guys, and just putting it in there and then just kind of doing what he said. I used to really love to build model cars like the 124 and 125 scale cars. So I wanted to get a small airbrush setup and so that I could do, the bodies of those nice and neat and, still be able to ventilate out and then, rockets all the way up to, big, 7.5 inch diameter kits. So should be able to just move the stuff around as I need to. And yeah, I need to get a compressor and a few things. I will be hitting you up, Tyler. I talked to you about that before and you gave me some good insight. But then of course you guys know how like Facebook conversations go back and you're like, I don't see it anymore.
Well, we should talk about it here because I'm sure somebody's going, man, you should ask him on the show. So go ahead and ask right here. It's workshop talk, man.
Absolutely.
All right. Yeah, if you guys have a minute.
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
How far are we to break?
Probably about 5 minutes.
Okay. Well, actually, talk about compressors really quick. And then you talked to me about the guns. And to be honest with you, I don't remember the abbreviation. HPLV or what exactly was that? Tyler, can we chat on that real quick?
Yeah, it's HVLP. So it's high volume, low pressure.
High volume, low pressure.
Yeah. Okay. So you can run them at lower pressure. If you are using that kind of gun, so you're talking about compressors, you need to have a pretty decent compressor, something that can move a fair bit of air. So the little 5 gallon like Brad Naylor compressors and stuff don't really work for HVLPs. Just because of the sheer volume. Even though it's low pressure, it's the volume of air that they're trying to push. So I personally run a 20-gallon stand-up compressor in my shop. It's probably a little overkill. You could probably get away with like a 10-gallon, but the 20-gallon's kind of nice because it only runs every 10 or 15 minutes if you're using the big gun.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sure.
So that's kind of good. But yeah, you want something that can move a fair bit of air. So anything that's good for like air tools and stuff, that's like the bigger ones, like an impact gun or something like that. That's typically what I would go for doing the bigger spray guns. A regular airbrush, you can use pretty much anything.
Just have to adapt the hoses down, right?
Exactly, yeah. A lot of the companies like Iwata and Pash are the two that I use most often. They actually have connectors for your standard compressors. So they hook right up. Their hoses just screw right on. And you can put quick connects on them and everything, which is what I do. The only thing that you want to think about if you are not spraying water-based acrylics, although some guys will probably say you should do this anyway, you want to get a moisture trap for your compressor because condensation builds up in the tank and then eventually it'll work its way into your paint. So if you're using anything oil or lacquer-based, you want that because you can't have water with your oil-based paints. I personally don't run that with my water-based acrylics, partially because my stand-up compressor, all the moisture is at the bottom of the tank and it doesn't really make its way out very easily. And on top of that, a little bit of moisture in your water-based paint, you're not even going to see it because it's water-based.
So the compressor that you got, what brand was that again?
Mine is just it's from Canadian Tire, so down up here in Canada.
Wow.
But it's the Mastercraft brand. It would be equivalent to Sears. Actually, I don't even remember what Sears has for brands.
Like a Craftsman or something? Yeah.
Yeah, it's like a Craftsman. Yeah, it's their house brand. It's a stand-up 20-gallon. But pretty much anything you go to Home Depot or Lowe's and get like a Porter cable or any of those kind of construction type or contractor brands, they all work. If you want to just do something for your airbrush and want something that you can actually have a conversation beside, you can get those little ones. Iwata makes some. They're quiet. For the smaller rockets or detail work, you can use them. They're super quiet.
They're as much as a 20-gallon.
Well, that's the problem.
Expensive.
Yeah, like my 20-gallon, I think was I think it was around $220 or something like that Canadian, which is like $100 American. So, not really. Cool. It's probably like it'd be like I don't know 180 or something American.
Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, it's true. If you get something like that,
that's good insight. All right.
Yeah, it's a lot cheaper than the name brands.
Little ones are brushless and they're continuous, so they always put that air out, just kind of what you're saying. So that makes a lot of sense. But when you get to the gun that's got like the one tip, what size are the tips? Like 1.5? Is it? They're like one. Yeah, I think the one on mine is a 1.5 mil tip. Is it just millimeter?
It's millimeter. Yeah.
Okay, so it's like the size of a lead pencil, guys. That's crazy. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, like my airbrushes I use when I'm painting my bigger rockets with my airbrush, I use the 0.5, so it's a 0.5 millimeter tip. It's really, really tiny. And even the 0.3 will spray. A 0.3 will spray about kind of like an 1.5 inch wide spray pattern. So even on low to smaller mid power stuff, you can even use that if you wanted to, and you can go down to a pencil line as well for detail.
Good stuff. Okay. All right. Well, no, I mean, that's some of the stuff I was going to ask about. So, and, I hear, do you guys have Harbor Freight out there in your area? I thought you mentioned that in a couple of our conversations before.
We don't have Harbor Freight. We have something called Princess Auto, which I think they're actually related. But yeah, Princess Auto is kind of our.
Well, you mentioned Porter Cable, and I think that's a Harbor Freight brand. So that's why I was asking.
Yeah, they actually sell that here at Home Depot and stuff as well. But Princess Auto would probably have kind of their. Princess Auto is one of those stores where they buy like these big like shipping containers of like, it's almost like a grab bag. So they just have sort of random stuff.
It sounds like Harbor Freight.
Yeah, I think it's the exact same idea.
Well, we're going to do right now is we're going to take a really quick break here on the Rocketry Show and get the first set of sponsors and all that out of the way. And we'll be right back with Tyler Palmer. It's a workshop episode right here on the Rocketry Show. Having fun talking rockets. And we'll be right back after this. Lock Precision Rocketry manufactures a full line of high-quality precision fit components to meet your building, repairing, and customizing needs. Lock Precision believes in making rocket kits as light as possible while maintaining the strength required to fly with commercially available motors. Lock Precision offers a wide range of rocket kits from the 1-inch diameter Lock 1 series to high-power rockets reaching 7.6 inches in diameter. When you visit LockPrecision.com, be sure to check out their Performance Series kits featuring such designs as the Black Brand 10, the Caliper ISP, and the 3.1-inch diameter Iris rocket. All of Lock Precision's performance kits comes with everything you need, including pre-slotted airframes, high-grade precision-cut plywood fins and components, as well as ripstop nylon parachutes, rugged shock cords, polypropylene nose cone, and instructions. The name Lock Precision has been synonymous with mid and high-power rocketry for over 30 years. Check out LockPrecision.com to find out why. LockPrecision.com. Fly higher. Fly Lock. It's time for eRockets. eRockets.biz is your home for unique model rocket kits, as well as the world's largest selection of rocket parts from Semrock. They've been around since 2009. eRockets.biz has a wide selection of your favorite kits, as well as their own versions of popular out-of-production models many of you have come to enjoy over the years. And Jesse has been kind of trolling around as well on the site. And what did you find?
I have indeed. And, you know, I've built almost every rocket now, I think, that they make rocket parts for, except for PML Quantum Tube. So I was looking at some of the public missile rockets that they have on eRockets, and I found one that has my attention, and I think I'm going to pull the trigger on this soon. I'm looking at the 3-inch diameter AMRAAM public missile rocket kit.
Nice, yeah.
This unit here, 3-inch diameter with the quantum tube. So I kind of want to see how that is. If you guys have built PML before, it's got a couple unique things with it. This one does come with fiberglass fins for that quantum tube. So that'll be interesting. I've never put that combination together before. This one also does have the quick switch motor mount that they advertise. So I believe like the core is built with a 54 millimeter motor mount and comes with, a way to, transform on the fly from 2938 to 54, so you can have what's called the quick switch, motor mount system. PML is known for its piston ejection. Before, when I had some older phenolic kits from PML, I didn't understand how it worked. After kind of reviewing the directions, which are also available on the page for eRockets, I have a better understanding of how to do that now. And now that I've got a little bit more experience with some mid-power and high-power stuff, I feel that I can tackle one of these rockets and, build it the way it needs to. This does have a payload bay. So, you could do a dual deploy at some point if you want to. This one apparently does come with decals, so that's pretty cool. What's really nice about this 3-inch diameter rocket, guys, is right around 5 feet tall. So, for an AMRAAM, that's pretty cool, right?
Yeah.
So you're going to get a big beefy rocket for this. It's advertised to handle anything from an H to the J motor, so you could potentially do a level 1, even a level 2 on this. And, priced right, from eRockets, you're looking, just at $139.99. I think it's a good deal. I think we're going to go for it.
All righty. If you need parts for your own custom build, well, that's not a problem. eRockets.biz also supplies the Semrock line of airframes, nose cones, centering rings, motor mounts, and so much more. eRockets has more rocket parts available than anyone else on Earth. And there's plenty of other supplies as well, such as water rockets and kits, supplies, and more. Just go to eRockets.biz to see the entire list of everything they've got for you here on that site. It just goes on and on and on. So check out eRockets.biz today to learn more. eRockets.biz. If rocketry scares you, buy a train set.
Going up in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, liftoff.
From Little Beth Media, a new podcast on model rocketry with build techniques, model rocket history, interviews with industry insiders, stuff for beginners and longtime model rocketeers, everything from low to mid-power. The Model Rocket Show with me, the Rocket Noob, at TheRocketryShow.com or anywhere you download podcasts.
The Rocketry Show would like to thank the following patrons for their support: Todd West, Matt Tudor, Les Rayburn, Steven Spencer, Bill Cook, Jason Cook, Gary Rosenfeld, Greg Ziegler, Toby Vanderbeek, Ken Blade, Eric Hamilton, John Beans, Scott Holla, Guy Wadsworth, Phil P., Tom Rum, Stephen Ray, Amanda Ho, Steve Sainer, Mark, RailButtons.com, and Todd West. If you wish to show your support and become a patron of The Rocketry Show, just visit us at patreon.com/The Rocketry Show.
Welcome back to The Rocketry Show at TheRocketryShow.com. I'm CG. We've got Jeem and Jesse as well. And we're joined by Tyler Palmer.
Hey, guys.
Hey. So real quick, one of the things that just happened to me, I think it was, yesterday? Well, yeah, I think it was yesterday, meaning the day before we recorded this show, is that, Facebook shows you your memories and flashes you a picture. And, it shows you how much time flies. It flashed a picture of when I flew Nezru at Bob Evans' farm, which if any of you are talking to me or have ever talked to me in a Zoom conversation or seen a default picture of me in my profile, it's the picture of me loading Nezru onto a launch rail. And in fact, Tyler is looking at that now because I have my camera off. And
great picture.
so that rocket, that picture was 6 years ago. It shows you how much time flies, how fast time flies. And so it's kind of like that rocket's getting up there. So with my little side note on that is I've been kind of looking at Nezru and kind of teasing out changing the avionics section on that to modify it so that I can fly it with the newer stuff. And Nezru, and I'm looking at the picture now, and Tyler's looking at the picture, but you guys aren't. But maybe I'll make it like the featured image or something. But Nezru is the only rocket that's got a standard avionics bay on it with the threaded rods and a switch band on it, and none of my rockets have anything like that going on. So I'm thinking, that'll probably shave enough weight off of that rocket that it'll probably fly a lot higher than it ever has. So I don't know, just teasing it. Just teasing that thought out. It's like, I've been tempted. Anyway, my side note there, yeah. Oh, we'll see.
So anyway. What's on your bench right now, Tyler?
Right now, rocket-wise, I don't have anything on my bench. I have this giant scale RC airplane that I'm refitting for spring, which actually is spring is now here. We had some really nice weather this past week, but I do have my 4-inch Iris is actually at the shop right now in my office. But I'm waiting for an avionics bay for it from Locke. But I'm going to be setting it up with dual RRC2s.
Nice,
that's actually that's going to be my level 2 rocket, which, I have to get my level 1. My 3-inch Iris is my level 1. So it's going to go up on an H135 single use with a chute release. That's going to be my level 1. Of course, depending on where I actually take it, if I do end up having to stay within Canada, I will go down and visit the Daigles at their big event down in Gagetown, New Brunswick, Rage at the Gage. It's on the Canada Forces base there. I haven't decided yet if I'll try to go I'll probably do my level 1 and my level 2 if I have to do it there, because it'll be under a car. So I'll do an H and an I motor the same day kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Nice. Yep.
And then probably I'll probably bring the 4-inch with me and just fly it on, an I motor or something just to shake it down for fun.
Sure.
But the 4-inch Iris right now is the big one that it's pretty well, it's like built and painted, but I just have to finish up kind of the avionics bay and a few other little odds and ends. It looks finished, but it's not quite.
The line work looked good. That's all I remember. So because I've seen pictures of it.
It actually turned out pretty clean. Yeah. I use for my masking tape, I just use like good quality blue masking tape. I believe what I'm using now, I bought that stuff. It's another Canadian Tire brand, but it would be similar to like a 3M blue painter's tape. And I find it really works well. It's just got the right amount of tack. So it doesn't rip up your paint, but it also seems to seal decently. So yeah, it makes some pretty nice straight lines.
Picking up all kinds of little tips from you there, Tyler, just listening to you chatter with the gang.
Yeah, well, you're kind of you're one of the rocket people. Some people get into just building and flying. They don't care what it looks like, but I've seen some of your stuff and photos, and you really do take the time to make it look good. I mean, I think that's pretty cool.
It's kind of important to me. I kind of like having, I mean, none of them are absolutely perfect, but I like them to look nice. I'm kind of like Jesse like that. I know he really likes to have his rockets looking nice. And I know early on, he's always like, oh man, your stuff's so good. It's so awesome. And I'm just like, it's like, Jesse, you were the guy who I was looking at your rockets and I was like, I want to have rockets like that. So
I was looking at, everybody tells me that, but I was looking at noobs. And Jim, I looked at your Archer, and CG, we look at your stuff. Everybody's got like their own little specialty, but like I learned from Noob. Like I got picky listening to Noob and reading his blog. I read his blog when I first started, and it's Noob's fault.
It's all Noob's fault.
It's Daniel's fault.
Yeah, he's not here. We can blame him for anything.
But no, I appreciate that, Tyler. But yeah, I mean, I appreciate when stuff looks good. And, Eric Kainberg, when, Locke built that first Saturn V that you guys saw like 2 years ago, for the 50th anniversary, I think Jason might have painted it or Eric did, but they launched that on the K550. And if you look at the rocket that they have on their website for the Saturn V, like the one that you have, Jim, man, it doesn't have like the conduit detail and it's literally a sport launch vehicle, but it looks so freaking good. And just doing lines, guys, is hard because you have to get the, pattern, the roll pattern correctly on all four sides. And when I painted my 5.5-inch iris, I didn't use the right color on the fins. The fins are like more of a maroon than they are a bright red. And I go back and look at the pictures like, oh man, I did that completely wrong. And then after I built this 5.5-inch iris, right? So proud of it. Did my own decals, did a lot of, finishing touches on it. And then good old Frank Burke shows me this picture of his scratch-built 5.5-inch rocket from like 20 years ago. I'm like, okay, I give up. I'm done. It was not even comparatively close. I mean, Frank is a master. We all know that, and it's wow.
I'm still debating on whether I go full detail on the Saturn or not. So
yeah, right?
Whether I get out those half rounds and start gluing them on or not. I'm debating it because I see the pictures of the ones that are built for sport without all the extra details and the extra weight, and they look good. And I think I'm not sure yet. I haven't decided yet. So I like the 10-foot rule. That's what I usually go by. If it looks good from 10 feet, I'm happy. So I don't know about the Saturn though, because it's a special rocket. I want to do it proud, So I've been mulling that over for a long time right now.
In your defense, and to your point though, Jim, you have that Apogee Saturn V that you did all that detail work on. So I would say put a big fat motor in that Lock 5 one. You know what I mean? So
yes,
yeah,
I do, because that's the other half of me. Like slam a big motor and see how far it goes. Yeah.
Right.
Blue Thunder, get it up there in a hurry. Jim style.
Well, it is 98 millimeter.
Oh, it is? Oh, okay, yeah. Well, I was thinking, I thought it was the, 5x5, 54 millimeter. You could kick it off with a K2050 and probably be happy.
Well, it's a single 98 with 4 outboard 29s.
Wow.
That's awesome.
Right. Wow.
So theoretically, I could put an M4500 and on the outboards have I-205s.
Oh,
maybe.
Man.
Just drumming it over.
That is fun. That is good stuff. M2500, right? We talked about those before. There you go. That's a good
40,
kickoff.
the M4500. No, it's
Oh,
the
4500.
M4500
Okay.
is a Super Thunder. It's got an M motor with a 1.5 second burn time.
No.
Wow.
Oh my goodness.
Its initial thrust, I mean, 1,000 pounds of thrust. So it kicked up my Archer, which is a 65-pound rocket. It kicked that thing up to over a mile, and most of it was coasting.
Oh man. Okay.
So stellar.
That's wild.
I like the way
crazy.
Gene has been experimenting, and I will be experimenting too with a top secret project. But we're trying to get some data from the rockets, and Gene exceeded the limits of an accelerometer with his high thrust.
I can't talk much about it, but what I can tell you is the first flight I did on just a mid-power F67 motor. We all know and love them. Single use. I put it in an Estes Pro Series test bed that I have, and it did great. It gave all the information and all the data. And then I was like, well, I want to try this on an H motor. So I got my T-Lock out, good solid flyer. Put it in there, and it went up to maybe about 2,500 feet. So it was a decent launch on an H motor, pretty cool. But when it got to the point of where it was trying to calculate the G-force and acceleration, it got stuck. So this device just... And I don't think it was many more. The F67 put out 15 Gs on the Estes one, so it couldn't have been that much more, could it? But regardless, though, it's still a work in progress.
Yes, it's still a work in progress, but we'll tell you more about it later. But
all right, fair enough.
Yeah. So the F67, I like that motor.
That's one of my favorite mid powers. I just love that motor. And have you had a chance to fly one of those, Tyler?
No, sadly, if I'm not mistaken, I think the F67 is one of the motors that it's actually not approved in Canada.
Oh, no.
Oh, come on.
I'm trying to think if it was, I can't remember. I was just going over the motor list because we were supposed to be shipped some motors, a whole pile of motors. Yeah. And I can't remember if it was the 67 or if it was an F74. I think it might have been the 67. I think that's one that we can't get. We're working on it. We're trying to get Dane Bowles at Aerotech was saying that they're working on getting, because we can't get the Q-Jet motors either. The little
oh man,
yeah. Oh really?
Yeah,
okay.
Because they were just never certified for use in Canada, so they're working on that. So I'm hoping they're going to kind of expand our list of allowable motors here for our in Canada. For that kind of stuff. Because, I hear you guys talking about it all the time. And I was like, I want one of those motors.
It's a cool.
Yes, you do.
It's white lightning. You light it. And unlike other white lightnings where they just kind of taper off, the thrust kind of tapers off. And that one has all thrust and it just stops.
Yep.
And the flame just extinguishes. Just like, bam. It's like,
there's no curve. It's just
no
straight.
Curve. Yeah.
No, it's
And it'll push a rocket up there, right? You put that in a little rocket, it's going to go.
Well, I assume you guys, are you going to be carrying any CTI loads or anything? Or are you going with Aerotech?
We're just with Aerotech right now. I wouldn't mind bringing in the CTI stuff. I just don't know how. I mean, we haven't really delved into that quite yet. Although I have my first reload case is actually I have a CTI 29 mil. I forget the length of it. It's the case that you could use a bunch of spacers in. It's basically the longest 29 case they have.
Yes.
Okay.
So yeah, I did buy my first reload. I haven't done any reloads yet, but I have a. What did I get? Just reaching behind me here to see what I have there. I was going to put this in my graduator, actually. It's an F-36 Smoky Sam CTI. So I'm going to try that out for my first reload. As soon as I can get into... I actually launch at my local... one of my local flying fields for RC. Because we have coverage under the Model Aeronautics Association, similar to the AMA in the States has the same thing.
Gotcha.
So yeah, I usually bring my stuff out there and launch it. We've got a pretty good field. The wind conditions have to be right, but I'm gonna give that a go.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, especially if they're cool with you launching stuff there. You know, I know sometimes the RC guys and the rocket guys headbutt, and then there's other times that they're, you know, dual hobbyist and, you know, the best of friends. So it's kind of funny how that works. So I'm glad you're able to fly out with those guys. So
yeah, there
and
are
hopefully
definitely
they enjoy the
some,
show.
Yeah, they usually do. That's the thing. You know, if there's a break in the flying, they don't mind if I go out and launch. And the nice thing about that one particular club is that it's kind of the first rule. Some of these flying clubs, they get all political and they're all just old codgers that are just, you know, living in, you know, 50 years ago. It's pretty funny. This particular one is like the first rule is there's no politics. And if you stir up anything, you're out. So
nice. That's my kind of people.
Yeah, it's super laid back. So yeah, most of the guys love it. And actually my local jet club, which is actually only 5 minutes away from the house, they want me to do a demo launch there. So that'll be fun.
Oh, cool.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
So F-67s, those are 29 mil. Those are really good for North Coast rocketry kits. Over at our local club, I used to, you know, launch my Archer and my Delta all the time on that, and then before my Bounty Hunter, you know, broke all of its fins, you know, because and they didn't even break from flying, guys. They broke from people like being careless and dropping them off the table onto the ground, or, you know, holding it from the payload, and then it would drop straight down, you know, smash, and those little tips that they used to have on the Bounty Hunter, they just break. And, you know, eventually I'm one of those guys that I will not let a rocket defeat me, so I will do my darndest to get the thing repaired one way or the other. Even I have to Dremel the fins out and repaint them and repurpose them and fiberglass them now, since I love fiberglassing all the things, you know. I tell you guys,
all the things.
Let me go on a tangent here since we're talking workshop, because this is a workshop project and I need to talk to you guys about it. So did I tell you guys that I chipped my Rocketry Show mug that I got from Patreon? I chipped it. Big chip.
Oh, no. Yes. How did it happen?
Mother-in-law. Anyway, I have all the epoxy, right? So I got some food grade epoxy.
All the epoxy.
And got some masking tape, and I made a contour of the cup, and I took some brand new sandpaper on my palm sander, sanded it down, and then took some 1000 grit and sanded that down even better. And then after that, I took some of that ceramic paint and just kind of painted over the top of it. Now you can't even tell that cup was chipped. So now
I'm surprised you didn't repair it with fiberglass.
Yeah. No, I didn't need to, man. The epoxy is good because of this. Okay, I missed the joke. I'm sorry.
Yeah, you didn't glass your mug.
I should have done that because people that would have known what they would have seen it and laughed probably. That's next time. There's more cups that are chipped, but check this out. So my mother-in-law and my wife, they bring me down like 3 more cups. They're like, "Can you fix these?" And I'm like, I don't even like these cups. Throw this stuff away. You know, what's wrong with you guys? Yeah. So I got a Starbucks mug and a bunch of other crap that they want me to fix with this food grade safe epoxy that I got from Michael's, and whatever, it works. And at least I can use my Rocketry Show mug again. And CG, I'll send you a picture for the website, but I got myself a model Rocket Show mug.
Yes.
That I just posted a picture on my Instagram. If people want to check that out, go check that out on Instagram at Model Rocket Guy, and I'll put it on the Rocketry Show's Instagram as well. But so I got that one from TeePublic. So if you go to the web store that's on TheRocketryShow.com, you can get, like we were talking about in previous episodes, any of the swag from the Rocketry Show or the Model Rocket Show from TeePublic, and they have stickers, mugs, and a plethora of different things. Tyler, what have you gotten? We got some pictures of Tyler wearing some gear. What did you get so far?
I've only gotten the shirt so far, but now I really want the mug. Yeah, I got the t-shirt. So
you can get Model Rocket Show mugs from TeePublic, but if you want the Rocketry Show mug, you got to get on the $25 tier for Patreon, because that is exclusive to that. But it's worth it, guys. You know, just jump on there, stay on there for 3 months, and they automatically ship you a mug if your address is correct on Patreon. So everybody check your Patreons, make sure your address is correct. For the $12 pledge, you guys get the sticker. So I'm waiting on my sticker now. So yes, I did have to downgrade from $25 to $12 for 3 months. Then I'll get my sticker.
I have to look into that and see if there's a way to make it so that if you're on there, you can get one than the other. I don't know. Or maybe they didn't
We'll
think
figure
about
it
that
out,
yet.
yeah.
We'll figure it out.
But I mean, it was worth it to get the mug because now I got both mugs. And my wife teases me. She's like, "You're such a dork." And I'll stand there with each mug in my hand and take pictures. And she's like, "You're not going to post that, are you?" I'm like, "Why take the pictures then? What's the use?" So
now you got to get the
social media guy. You
now you have to like make a Rocketry Show sip anti-spill liquid cup too. I forget what do you call those stupid things?
Sippy cups.
Sippies.
Sippy cups,
We need
yeah.
sippy cups. Oh, CG, please let's get some sippy cups because
that would be
it's
good for a
Rocketry
workshop.
There is one for the Model Rocket
Totally
Show.
would
The logo is like really huge on it, but there is one you can get from TeePublic
It's
for the
worth
Model
it.
Rocket Show. And you could probably make one with the Rocketry Show logo for a sippy cup, meaning the fans out there can just slap our logo on it. And
All right. That's cool. Sorry to get on the tangent, but I know that Tyler's got those shirts. James got his sweatshirts. You got some stuff that you've got pictures of floating around CG. And then, I love getting all the Rocketry Show and the Model Rocket Show swag and showing it off. So, yeah, I just had to talk about that since Tyler's on the show. And, that's one of the things that him and I talked about before. So,
well, I did take one of the stickers and put it on my official Rocketry Show MacBook Pro. So it's official.
Hey, Jim, on your T-Lock's got a Rocketry Show sticker on it, doesn't it?
Yes, it does. Absolutely. I'll take a picture and send it up.
That's how you do that, guys.
Yeah, well, that's the
fun.
thing with when I have a little rocket launch story. When I was testing out that device, I also had I used a shoot release and then had one of the Flight Sketch minis in it, just to get some data to bounce back and forth. So this is a cornfield, right? And there's no corn, it's just the stalks.
This is a cool story. I think I know where you're going. Go ahead.
Okay. So I'm running my test. I'm like, it's an H. It'll go 2,000 feet. It's a flat cornfield. There'd be no problem. So up it goes, and comes down. I'm like, all right, I see where it is. So I start walking. And I keep on walking, and I'm like, wait a minute, that's too far. I'm going to head back a little bit. So I spent an hour circling in a harvested cornfield, which you think is no problem, right? And I couldn't find it. So I'm like, oh my God, that's my Rocketry Show T-Lock. I got to get it back. And I got this gizmo that isn't mine, blah, 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 blah. So I started getting a little bit panicked going, I really got to find that thing. So the way I had to do it was, and I went back and forth. I went up over this ridge, which I knew it wasn't because I saw it land. It was there. I just wasn't seeing it. So, and the corn stalks are maybe there's an area where they were about a foot high. So not bad, but you think you would be able to see a parachute or something, right?
Mm-hmm.
Couldn't. So the only way that I could get that back was wait a minute, I have a Flight Sketch, which is a Bluetooth device. If I can get within 20 feet of it and I can read it. So I'm walking around with my phone, doing a circle and checking out where I was and where I thought it was. And I had to connect it up. And maybe about, it seemed like forever, but it was probably a half hour. I finally got a hit on it from a Bluetooth device. So I knew it was okay, 20 feet. It's got to be around here somewhere. And it was exactly where I thought it landed. I found it. So I'm like, oh my God. I couldn't believe it though. I mean, it's a cornfield that's been harvested. Should be easy, right?
Right.
It was only a 2,000 foot flight. No problem. Whoa. Well, you know what? It can be a problem. So I didn't even bother putting a tracker. I've got Marco Polo trackers, right? But I'm it's an H. It'll be fine. So
I have eyes on it. Yeah.
Yeah, I had eyes on it the whole time. And I'm like, oh man, I can't believe that I actually almost lost this T-Lock, which also did get lost in a cornfield. And one guy actually found it for me. So this rocket likes to run. It just likes to disappear. Thankfully, I got it back. So, but I had to use a Bluetooth connection to get it, which is only a range of 20 feet. So note to self, trackers. If an H motor, tracker. I don't care anymore because I'm not going to lose this T-Lock.
Rewinding real quick here, question for Tyler. Now you said your air compressor is a stand-up one, and so I was kind of looking in the background here at various air compressors. And so would you have any particular reason for the stand-up one versus the other kinds?
Good. Yeah, good call. Good question.
Not really, except for the fact that it's got a slightly smaller footprint. Even the 10-gallon kind of the ones that are on wheels that lay down, they kind of take up space.
Okay.
I've just got this nice little spot. I have this I live in a 100-year-old house, and we've got kind of the basement. I've actually had to modify to make it into a workshop. So I've got kind of limited room to put stuff, and I have this nice little stand-up spot that goes right underneath one of the headers for the air ducts. So it just sits in this nice little spot. It's kind of like a 1.5 by 1.5 foot, square I can stick it in. So it's kind of good. And it just happened to be on sale.
Oh, okay. Even better.
Good point.
Yeah, it was just, I have air tools and stuff for working on the cars and stuff like that. So it was kind of like, yeah, this is going to be, a good size, and the fact that it stands up and takes up less space, all the better.
Awesome. No, cool. Thanks.
Cool.
Guys, I know this is a show about rocketry. And I apologize, but I'm going to bring it up. CG.
Yes.
When chickens communicate, do they use foul language?
Yeah.
Oh, he's okay. So anybody follows me on Facebook knows that I've got a never-ending collection of dad jokes that I just post that just never stop
For no reason, just because.
Yeah, for no reason, just because. And I like to find some really bad ones that just make people groan from sea to shining sea.
I should follow you just for that.
Yeah, I needed the laugh, so thank you. That made my night. Thanks.
My favorite one are the Star Trek ones, with Riker and Picard, where people just make bad dad jokes using memes with those two characters, and occasionally Deanna Troi.
Oh, yeah.
So,
hey, Star Trek counts. Star Trek counts as rockets.
Exactly.
It's space-ish.
It does.
There have been rockets made of that, so it counts,
Exactly.
So this makes a great spot here to take our second and last break for the show, and we'll come back with more from Tyler Palmer, and we're talking workshop talk and just having a great time with it all. And so we'll be right back after this. You're listening to The Rocketry Show at TheRocketryShow.com. Stay close. North Coast Rocketry, one of the first high-power rocketry kit companies ever, takes advantage of over 30 years of high-power experience by a world-class rocketeer. You can look to North Coast Rocketry to expand your high-power rocket fleet. In addition to great kits, North Coast Rocketry also stocks lots of must-have items and accessories for every rocketeer's workshop. Find out more about these kits and other great products today. Go to northcoastrocketry.com. And while you're there, don't forget to get their latest catalog, northcoastrocketry.com. Advanced rockets that are easy to build, fun to fly, and look great on display. It's time for Serious Rocketry. Serious Rocketry, since 1998, providing the Rocketeer with great kits, motors, supplies, and more. They have lots of products in their ever-growing web store with fast shipping, wide selection, and courteous service. You can also check out the amazing and popular Serious Rocketry kits that harken back to the days of fun-to-build detailed kits that are more than just 3 fins and a nose cone. Gene has been scouting the site, and he's dug up something for you to check out.
Yes, as a matter of fact, I have just found something that is amazing. Now, we've had a lot of talk about people getting into fiberglass and, they're used to building cardboard. I have found the Mad Cow Rocketry 2.6-inch thin-walled fiberglass Patriot. Now, check this out. It's a 2.6-inch thin-wall fiberglass, which means it's going to be extremely light. But don't let that fool you. It is also really, really strong. You can if you put your finger in the tube, you can kind of see the outline and like a opaque finger sticking in the tube. I've actually stood on this tube and it hasn't broken. But with a 2.6-inch body tube, it's got a hand-laid fiberglass nose cone. It has laser-cut plywood parts. Comes with a Kevlar nylon shock cord, G10 fins. So you're gonna get a fully fiberglass rocket here. And they normally the body wrap is extra, but in this case, the body wrap comes with it. So you can make your Patriot look like a Patriot. So if you want to get into fiberglass, this is a great little rocket, 29 millimeter motor mount. The total weight on it is about 32 ounces. That's pretty light for a fiberglass rocket, with G10 fins and fiberglass nose cone. The only thing that it doesn't have is the parachute. So you might want to go and get one of those top flight recovery parachutes that I rave about, thin mill. Might as well go thin mill with thin wall fiberglass, right? So all of that, all of that is going for $117.95. I mean, it's an amazing price for a fiberglass rocket. So I'm going to get one because I have to. That's all there is to it.
All righty. And when you're ready to order, Serious Rocketry's website features real-time stock tracking, which lets you order with confidence from their online store. No having to call or write to see if something is really in stock. And when you're ready to fly, Serious Rocketry has motors and hardware in stock from Estes through Aerotech High Power, as well as popular electronics from Jolly Logic and more. Be sure to ask them about their club specials while you're at it. You can visit their websites today at siriusrocketry.biz and .com. Serious Rocketry, for the serious Rocketeer.
Hey, all you rocket geeks out there. Do you like doing in-flight videos of your flights? And do you ever use those keychain cams and unfortunately sometimes only get videos of your thumb? Hey, this is Gene from The Rocketry Show, and that used to happen to me. I used to use those old keychain cams only to get nothing very good quality. But I found a solution to that, and it's Insane Rockets. It's an app that's available on the Google Play Store for Nexus 5X and higher. Now get this, it does 4K video. But not only that, it'll upload it automatically to the cloud and provide you real-time telemetry while tracking your rocket through Google Earth. It is amazing. Available on the Google Play Store, Insane Rockets app. It's crazy. No, wait. It's insane. The Rocketry Show would like to thank the following patrons for their support: Timothy Mock, John Sicker, Jeff Curtis, Phil Bridges, Scott Masters, Roy Tyson, Rob Habe, R. Smith, Gary Dow, Jay Poman, Don J., G. Smearden, M. Arisman, Pierre Marlowe, Jeff Curtis, Bill Laputo, Philip Calvin, Jay Bryan, Casey Anderson, Terry Dancer, Mark Essenwine, Jim Wilson, Jason O'Skelly, and Scott Masters. If you wish to show your support and become a patron of The Rocketry Show, just visit us at patreon.com/The Rocketry Show.
Welcome back to The Rocketry Show, and we're having a great time talking to Tyler Palmer on this workshop episode, and so here we are. It's cool stuff. Tyler, what kind of electronics do you like to play with? We've been talking about the Marco Polo trackers and all that stuff during various episodes. What kind of electronic things do you like to play with, or what's your favorite avionics kits?
So I'm pretty new to avionics stuff. So I'm basically going to be working on my first, I haven't decided exactly which rocket's going to do it, but I'm going to probably do some nice little mid-power dual deploy to start out with.
Okay.
To test out the RRC2s and kind of get my feet wet on those. The Marco Polo trackers are pretty cool. I don't have one, but I kind of really want one.
Yes.
Because I've lost, well, I haven't lost that many rockets, but there are certain things that I did lose a big airplane once and never got it back, which really stunk. And had I have had one of those, I never would have lost it. But yeah, Marco Polo stuff sounds really, it's just kind of simple.
Yes, exactly.
But I'm sort of interested in some of the other, small trackers and stuff that I keep seeing. So I haven't really, I haven't jumped into one camp or the other yet, but it's all really interesting to me. It's kind of my journey into rocketry. I really enjoy the researching and the learning about new stuff. Like it just keeps me interested when I'm just constantly learning new things about it.
Sure.
So yeah, that's kind of my goal for this summer. Launch a whole bunch more rockets, do some dual deploy, and probably I'll end up getting some trackers. I'll probably want to get some trackers in for depending on where I go, for my level 1. If we're down at Gagetown, they actually have a massive It's a huge, huge area. Any of the pictures that Rachel Daigle posted of doing her level 3 there, it's just phenomenal. And of course, when I go, I'm not going to be launching anything super, super high anyway. I'm kind of in the low and slow camp. I kind of like being able to see what's going on. But I do want to learn about that stuff because, sometime I'm going to want to launch 10,000 feet and, I want to be able to get that rocket back. So
yes, you do.
Yes.
Return on investment.
Mm-hmm.
So are the as far as like when you're talking about dual deploy, we all know that 4F black powder is around in this country. Is it difficult do you need a license to get it, or how hard is it to get black powder up there?
It's actually a really good question because that's something I hadn't really thought about all that hard. And of course, I've seen everybody talking about, where are you getting your stuff? And there's all the different types of powders. From what I understand, it's as easy as going to your local Cabela's and buying a can of it. So,
okay. Well, that'd be great if it was.
Yeah,
that was a huge buildup. That was a huge buildup, Tyler. Seriously.
I aim to please.
But anyway, you can get it at Cabela's.
Yeah. I think that's from what I've heard. It's actually pretty easy to get your hands on a can of black powder. So I think that part of things will be fairly easy to do. Of course, the rumors could be completely false too. So,
right.
But I think it sounds like it's pretty easy. They're not super restrictive on that kind of stuff. I mean, you have to have license for firearms and stuff like that, but they don't seem to care about the actual powder. So,
oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, that's always a big question at launches around here,
Yeah.
I can see a bunch of people going to Canada. I'm going to go to Canada to get black powder and then try to get over the border with it.
Yeah. Good luck with that.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, don't do it.
Yeah, don't. It won't be fun.
Well, I've always wanted to go up to Canada to launch rockets. I mean, we're not too far away. We're just across Lake Erie,
Yeah. It's, I wanted to go, my initial plan was, before all this COVID stuff happened, was to actually go down and launch with the Champlain Region Model Rocketry Club. Because I've got some fellow Canadians that go down. One of the guys that I've been chatting with actually is from kind of the Montreal area, so he's about an hour and a half away or so.
Right.
And total drive down to the Vermont Club it's probably 3 hours, maybe.
Okay, not too bad.
So I was going to go down there and launch with them. They're in our club. But unfortunately now the borders are still kind of iffy, so iffy and or closed.
Mm-hmm.
So if the bubble or if the borders open up, like I don't even know if I can get down to New Brunswick to do it there, because they're kind of in their own little bubble in the eastern part of Canada.
Okay.
So yeah, things are still kind of iffy about that, but I figure I'm sort of listening to the noob talk about how he does, kind of attacks his rocketry stuff. Like he's got his L1, but he enjoys launching the mid-power stuff more because he can do it, kind of more often.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm sort of the same mind on that, where I want to get my certifications, partially just to say that I've done it. I want to do the research to learn how to do it and do all that stuff. But I really like the kind of the 2.5 to 3 inch sized rockets. So for me, I may do more of that, but I do, I definitely want to get at least my L2, I think is kind of what I'm aiming for.
Sure.
Overall.
Oh, you got a great range of motors at that level.
Yeah, you really do. There's a lot of nice stuff. Oh, and yeah, speaking of motors, I looked up on our inventory system. Yeah, the F-67s were the ones that had to go back.
I'm sorry.
We had so many of them coming too. I was so mad.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Can you get F-44s? Because, order a bunch of Estes Goblins and get some Toby upgrades and then do some F-44s like everybody else in the United States seems to be doing now.
Team Goblin.
Yeah, we have lots of, we have lots of those coming. So yes, I'm going to do that.
So I was mentioning, in past episodes how all the guys on a Colorado club here are doing F-44s. So I went out to the launch on Saturday, and David Mihelko and Scott, they're over there. And I'm like, I thought they were gonna do a drag race, but it's like, yeah, mine's going on right now. I'm like, I look up, and then all of a sudden, as soon as I turn my head, zip, the goblin's away. Gone. You can't see that thing. And then David's like, oh, I got mine going next. So I turn around and look, and as soon as I turn around, zip, it's gone. And then he lost it, and then thank goodness, one of our senior members found it and gave it back to him. It's like, yeah, it's the fourth one I've flown on it so far. Pretty little green Estes Goblin on an F-44. They zip so fast. So I come home, and then I log on, and then I see that Russ over at Flight Sketch did the same thing over on the East Coast. So it's nationwide, y'all. Get your F-44s and get some Estes Goblins and cut some slots in them. Put some Toby fin upgrades in there from Vanderburn, and go on with life. Get those things up there. Apparently they go about 2,000
Don't forget
feet.
the nose weight.
Lots of nose weight.
Extra nose weight. Yeah. So yeah, it's fun stuff. And there's a couple of guys that are building them now with the little micro rail guides instead of launch lugs. Because boy,
sure,
the rods they just whip back and forth. It's kind of funny. So
especially with that kind of power and force behind a little rocket.
That'd be terrifying. You don't know what angle that thing's going to come off the rod.
Right.
Gosh, it was just so funny to see. I literally turned my head and zip, it's gone. I'm like, oh, come on, guys. So I have not done one yet. I've just been watching these guys, and I'm standing there like holding parts in my hand, and all of a sudden I turn my head and zip, there's stuff goes. Just fun stuff. F-44s on your Estes Goblins, guys. That's a deal now. It's a thing. So get on the bandwagon.
So I guess I got to do it now.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. So Jesse, since we're all on stuff on our Facebook group, I see. I would ask you a little more about this. I see a post that you made where you're standing next to a bunch of large pictures of your rockets launching, and one with a Saturn V, whatever. So you said that's something Locke can do. What's that about?
Yeah. So check this out. This is for all rocket people, right? I mean, we're a small community here, so this is not an advertisement for Locke. But let me kind of let you guys know what Jay and Dave are able to do for you. If you submit a high-res photo of your favorite launch, you can get a poster made from them on their gigantic printer that they have, Gigantor printer or whatever. I was working with Jason, and we were able to make a 16x20 launch of my Big Nuke 4, the one that I've been babbling about since October 2019 when I joined the show. That's the first rocket that I built, when I got onto the show, and I've been babbling about it the entire time. And they sent it to me. I went to Walmart of all places and got like a $6 frame, just a plastic frame with a plastic front. And it's chilling here in my wall. When you come downstairs into my work area, you get to see that next to my Apollo Saturn V that I also got from Locke. But they can do that for you. And it's not very expensive, guys. It's less than $25, I think, to get a 16x20 poster made of your favorite launch. High res. You upload it on the website. You pay for it there. He ships it to you. He ships it to you in a damaged 4-inch rocket tube. So if you're crafty,
that's awesome.
If you're crafty, save that tube, glass that thing, and put some fins on it and send it, because you're getting a free tube out of this deal too, guys. So it's fun stuff. But yeah, very inexpensive, and it's quality work. It looks fantastic. A huge poster of your stuff. Get this for gifts for your friends. I mean, I ordered a couple for some of my Colorado people. I'm not going to tell you who you guys are. I'm just going to show up with it one day. But, Jason and Dave are making me some posters, and Stan over at Locke. And I plan on giving some stuff out for gifts, for people who've helped me out, with my certifications and stuff like that for some of the achievements that they have done. And, we have a lot of good photographers here in Colorado. If you guys, but please be conscientious of your photographers. There are photographers that do have their work copyrighted. So make sure you check with your photographer before you go and have it printed. You know how those rules are. Senior pictures, the same rules apply for your rocket launches. So if you have a professional grade picture that was taken by somebody, check with them that you can have it reproduced. And if so, then send it up to Jason and Dave at Locke. You upload it right on their website. It's easy. And yeah, get yourself a picture of your favorite stuff. And there's some other folks that I know that could probably offer that as well. However, the fact that they're offering it as a service for you guys, I think that's really cool for Rocket stuff. So thanks a lot, Jay and Dave from Lock. And like I said, they'll print any of your pictures. If you have an Estes picture, if you have a Mac Performance picture, if you have SBR, you have Binder Design, you have Mad Cow, it doesn't matter. The community is a fellowship. Get your pictures to those guys. They will print it for you so you can put it on your wall and be proud of your achievements. I love it.
Nice.
So, cool. That's the deal on that.
I think on the next Nesru launch, whenever that's going to be,
yeah, man,
I have to bring my good, make sure I have my good camera handy so I can take a nice high res shot. I'm getting good at that camera. It's like it's a newer one from my old one, and it can do some really nice pictures. It's just I have to, I'm getting the hang of it. And the last couple of pictures I took of Mr. Bean taking off are like so cool. How detailed and everything, and caught it just frozen in time, which is kind of hard to do. But I figured out the settings on it for that, so I can't wait to, get some more shots in there. With some of the
fast
rockets.
shutter speed.
Yes.
If you have a good picture now, you should be able to submit it, and they'll make you. There's 3 different sizes of the framing that they can do posters for. 16 by 20, it's one of the most popular, right? Mm-hmm. And then, of course, you have like the big poster size. I can't remember what the sizes are. I think they're 20 by 30. I don't remember exactly. But whatever that scale is, 16 by 20 is pretty popular. But yeah, man, if you got like a long one, they can do a long one for you and then create you a white border. I mean, it's just a nice high quality printer that they were able to get. And that's what they do a lot of their decals on. And yeah, there's no secrets to where this stuff comes from, they do it for, it's just a service that they offer now. And I think it's really cool. So.
Yeah, I definitely
print
have to do that. Because before I make Nesru lighter, I've got to get some shots of the thing flying as is. Because with all that weight, it's like the pictures of that thing look like Saturn V pictures because it takes a while. It takes a while to get it going, so there's a lot of smoke around it.
The big billow of smoke on the ground. Yeah. No, that's cool. That's why you want those pictures for sure. Yeah. So
nice.
Yeah, man.
And another thing on the group here, just to throw another topic in here, is we have a new member of our Facebook group, and he's been posting a lot. Marcelo, and he is building an AIM-9 rocket. The one with the fins up front.
Yeah.
Yes. What do you call those things?
Sidewinder.
Yeah, it's a Sidewinder, and I forget the name keeps slipping out of my head. Yes, canards. Yeah. It pops in my head, and the second I go to say it, it was like disappearing. Yes, with the canards on the front. And so I'm curious how well that goes for him. So it's like this really detailed build he's been doing, like every step of the way. And one of the things he's making roll around plates for it and everything. So it's like, okay.
And once again, Marcelo was nice enough to say, those are the best fillets I've ever seen on one of the pictures that I posted. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, dude, zoom in on that because they're not that great. Like we got Aaron over in the Pacific Northwest, who I can't say your last name, Aaron. I'm sorry. He's model rocket guru and mid power guru. But that guy's fillets are absolutely perfect. You can and I know how he does it because I've done it a few times on some things. But doing fillets like that is so intrusive and takes so long. And, if your rocket falls and it, cracks across that fin and you're like, oh man, did all that work for nothing. But it's just one of those things. But he made a comment that I have like the best fillets. I'm like, no, dude, those are okay fillets. But you guys are too nice. I mean, I go for aesthetic on a lot of my builds. And, this detail that Marcel's putting into that AIM-9, wow, it's really, really cool. And he's all the way up to like part 14. But if you guys go to the Rocketry Show discussion group, that's our public group for Facebook for the Rocketry Show, you'll be able to see his posts, and he's got a ton of pictures on there.
Yeah.
And boy, it's, fantastic work.
And he built it out of Bluetooth. So there's, to continue on this ongoing thread on Bluetooth on our workshop episodes. And one of the things that's really cool, and I knew that it was easy to kind of machine that stuff because I would just cut it on my bandsaw, when I'm making motor mounts, and I thought that was kind of cool. But he uses the Dremel pieces parts to just kind of cut slots, mill the slots on a jig, and it's like, oh, I didn't think about that. And then the more I'm looking at this, like, that's the kind of stuff you use to make modular rockets with. You can just kind of machine your parts with that, So I don't know. I might have to buy a bunch one day and build a rocket just to build one out of blue tube just to see what it's like.
I remember you saying that you built your motors, your motor tubes.
Yeah, Nezuru and I believe Comanche are the two rockets where I used the blue tube for motor mounts. And it was kind of, thinking back on that now, because Nezuru's been flying for a long time. The nice thing about it is that doesn't really deform much in cold weather. So I've never had a moment where the motor was stuck in there because it was really humid or really cold or anything like that. It just always slides in and out. Even with you get residue in there, stuff doesn't get jammed up in there because of residue. If you do, it's fairly easy to clean it out. So yeah, that's what I used it for, but I never built a rocket out of it.
Well, then we need to.
I have to do that for the experience.
Well, those I know those spirals on the blue tube are as deep as phenolic spirals, so they aren't fun to fill. So you can, but Tim from Apogee has a really good way that he does it with the epoxy clay. So he mixes a little bit of epoxy clay and then rolls it between his fingers, and then he literally presses it into the spiral grooves, and then he takes a razor blade and he just literally cuts it, puts it on the edge of the tube where the spiral is, and then just kind of cuts the clay off the top, and it like skims it. It like sheams perfectly, and it's really cool. Like how if you watch his video on how he does that, and I tried it on some phenolic, and it was like, oh my god, this is so painful. It takes so long. And then I got smart with myself, and then I used the good old Bondo filler putty stuff that you can get. That I had tried using it with that. I was like, ooh, this is way easier. So then I go and I paint my phenolic tube, and then I was like, you can still see the spirals. So what I recommend when you guys are doing that, and this is workshop talk, right? If you want to fill your spirals with that putty, go ahead and do so. You can even use Elmer's wood filler. You could use that too. And then just take like a popsicle stick, or if you have a razor blade. I went to Ace Hardware and bought those plastic razor blades, and those work perfectly for this. Pack them into your spirals, and then, go across them. And then you're going to see like a small dip. If you had calipers, it's going to be like super small, but I mean, it's enough that it's noticeable if you're looking for like the 10-inch rule instead of like the 10-foot rule. 10-foot rule, this passes all day long, But what I would do is once you get done with that, use some filler primer or some, industrial automotive primer, and then primer your rocket. And then if you want to go over it again with that wood filler, they go away completely after that. And then you don't have to worry about it. Now, on regular cardboard tubes, most of the time, a lot of guys can just get away with using filler primer, but you can also use this step on the cardboard tubes. However, for some reason, it doesn't stick on the cardboard very well, so you might want to sand the glassing down with like 400 grit, and then, use that step on the, and it'll fill out a little bit better. But once again, you do all this work on a cardboard rocket. You go launch this thing on a J, and then, you come back with missing a fin or something. You did all that work and you're going to cry, and, so I mean, yeah. Figure out what rule you guys like your visibility at, and then do whatever you want to do.
Want to know a secret? I never pay attention to the spirals. I just paint it and fly.
If you're building for performance, no, you don't really pay attention to the spirals. And we could argue all day. And there have been some discussions, on the Rocketry Forum and other groups where they, if you fill the spirals, you'll get better performance. Of course, the spirals are going to cause drag. We know that, right? But filling them causes weight. You're going to get drag from the weight. So, I mean, you lose either way, right? So you can just do what I decided to do and just glass all the things.
That'll take care of it right there.
Yeah, because at that point you just do like Jim and get a high thrust motor and put it in there, and say goodnight and send it. Just be happy. Hey, CG, since you were talking about the Rocketry Show Facebook page and looking at the discussion group, Thomas Dossier, I don't know how to say your name, Thomas. I apologize. But Thomas just posted something here on March 5th where he had a rocket that he was launching on a J425. I can't open the YouTube link or the Rocketry Forum link, but he says that he had a bad day. So I don't know if you get to hear this, Thomas. Can you talk a little bit more about what happened on that? Because I see you have a really nice fiberglass rocket with avionics, and you got really good recovery and stuff on the post that you have here. But when I try to go and open up the Rocketry Forum link, it takes me to a dead link. So I can't see what happened. Did you launch it and it crashed or something? Because now I'm really interested and I want you to talk about it. So we might have to reach out to Thomas and find out.
Let's see here. Okay, I've got a. Okay, I'm able to play the video, and it looks like something happened during flight. Like something happened, but I don't know exactly what, because I see it veering around on the way up. It didn't skywrite. It just wiggled. Something happened.
Oh, okay. So you found a link. Okay.
Well, I'm able to play it off of the site. Yeah, it didn't work originally, but then it started working.
All right. Well,
and
I just
someone
wanted
else,
to mention that.
Yeah, and his only thing was epic fail.
Epic fail. Oh man, sorry. I mean, that's not the kind of stuff that we like to see, but it's a learning experience for everybody. So I definitely get interested. Then another thing that Marcelo did post is he has the cutting jig from Macklin Missile Works. Did you guys see that? And he's got it looks like he's got like a drill on there that he uses on that jig from Macklin. And that's how he made his slots on his blue tube. That is really freaking cool.
Yes.
So, because I can consider myself a master slot cutter. Like I have my right angle aluminum pieces, set up just perfectly, and I tape them on there, and then I take black electrical tape and I wrap them around my tube so that thing is going nowhere. And then, I'll take the tube upstairs and annoy my wife, and I'll sit down on the couch and I'll watch TV next to her with my X-Acto knife, and I'll sit there and I'll start cutting the slots out of those tubes, and she's like, "What the heck are you doing?" And then I show her, and then maybe like 15 minutes later, like I pierced through the cardboard tube, right? And then I'll take the tape off and I'll rearrange the right angle so that it fits on the other side of the slot that I'm trying to cut. And then I'll sit there and I'll just whittle away at the cardboard with my X-Acto knife against that right angle. And then I got an absolutely perfect tube slot on the cardboard or phenolic. It doesn't matter. I'm not scared of either. And then, she's like, "You literally, did you pay attention to this all? And then she's asking for the book report. So, because I wasn't paying attention to the movie, I was paying attention to slotting my tube. Sorry, babe. Happy 10-year anniversary, babe. That's all I got to say about that. So I've been babbling on too much, guys. Sorry.
Really quick. Well, we're about to wind down anyway, but really quick, I found what happened to it looks like it crashed. Something, because he had his 4-inch eBay is now 1.5 inches. Kind of thing. So it plowed pretty bad. I'm looking at the Rocketry Forum pictures.
So, Thomas, thank you for your post. Marcelo, thank you for your post on those. So if you guys go to the Facebook pages for the Rocketry Show, there's one called the Rocketry Show Discussion Group. Most of you guys are part of all these other Facebook groups. Join ours and post your pictures, because that's stuff that we will talk about on the show. So I invite you guys to do that as well.
Yes.
Post questions, feedback, all that stuff there. And Marcelo, thank you for your post. This stuff looks great. We can't wait to see it fly.
Yes.
I'd like to take one quick thing, if I may. I'd like to call out congratulations to Rick Sharp of Tripoli, Mid-Ohio, flying I believe a Super DX for his level 3 certification. So congratulations, Rick. I'm glad I had a chance to see that flight.
Cool.
Sweet. Then congratulations to David Hahn of Quad Cities. He just got his level 3 last weekend, or the weekend before last. It was whatever the beginning weekend of March was. So congratulations to you, David, and all you guys who have done certs. I know we tried to keep track of everybody who tried to cert once, and I wound up coming up with like 20 different names, and everybody started pinging me. It's like, what about him? What about him? It's like, oh, crap.
Yeah.
So congratulations, everybody.
Yeah, anybody who certed anything. Good job. And thanks for hanging out with us, Tyler.
Hey, no problem. That was super fun.
It was fun talking to you. We learned stuff and had good fun.
One step closer to airbrushing.
Yes.
Yeah, there you go.
Everybody message Tyler. Send him messages. Drive him nuts. He loves it. He responds to you. So do it. Message Tyler. So.
I'm not going to get any sleep tonight.
Nope. But Thanks for getting some Rocketry Show swag, though, dude. I mean, I appreciate those pictures and letting us share them with everybody. So,
yeah, for sure. I mean, I started listening to the show. It wasn't super long ago. It was when we were moving our store from one location to another, and show up early and just put it on the big Bluetooth speaker in the store. So the whole store, I'm just listening to the Rocketry forum or the Rocketry show. Sorry.
Nice.
And I got hooked on it. It's just super nice. Anytime there's a new episode, I throw it on at my desk while I'm doing stuff in the morning, and yeah, it's great.
And we're working on a new episode of the Model Rocket Show as well. And so that try to get that fired up and going so that it's on a steady alternate schedule with this one. And so that'll be fun as well. And that is, check it out if you haven't. It's the Model Rocket Show, TheRocketryShow.com. Alrighty. And on that note, I guess,
keep your eyes in the skies.
All right, everybody, we'll be back with you next time here at The Rocketry Show at TheRocketryShow.com. So we'll see you then.
Have a comment? We'd love to hear it. Send them to mailbag@TheRocketryShow.com. If you enjoyed what you heard, don't forget to check out our sister show, TheModelRocketShow.com. The Model Rocket Show is hosted by the Rocket Noob and is all about low to mid-power rocketry. TheModelRocketShow.com with Daniel, the Rocket Noob. Check it out today. The views and opinions expressed on these programs are those of the participants and do not necessarily reflect those of Little Beth Entertainment or its sponsors.